Go on to our final player to discuss today, and this is one that I'm a little bit conflicted on. I could see it going either way. It's Allen Robinson, who is currently going as the wide receiver 22 on Underdog. His ADP is 47. I could definitely see that rising. I mean, just anecdotally from the drafts that I've been in lately, he's going more towards the top of the fourth round. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he was a topic of conversation on one of our upcoming ADP market report episodes. People seem to be really buying Allen Robinson as the clear-cut wide receiver two in LA. Um, the story with Allen Robinson has always been his attachment to terrible quarterback play. He obviously had the monster season early in his career and then has had a couple decent seasons during his time in Chicago, but it's been mixed in with some poor seasons in between. There's obviously room for a wide receiver outside of Cooper Kupp to emerge here. Van Jefferson got a ton of playing time last year. He was okay with it, but not, great by any stretch. They definitely missed having Robert Woods. They were able to make some of that up with Odell Beckham late in the season, but it took him a little while to get acclimated. It should be good for this offense to have a really solid wide receiver too in Allen Robinson from the beginning of the year, hopefully to the end of the year. But I just don't know if his struggles are entirely quarterback based. Is he still the talent that we believed him to be early in his career or not? Because last year, he was legitimately one of the worst wide receivers in the league, and he still had what should have been potential volume, but got outproduced, on a weekly basis by Darnell Mooney. So how are you viewing Allen Robinson, and can you, justify paying for him at his current price tag, which is rising to the top of the fourth round?
I mean, obviously that's getting a little expensive, and he's the wide receiver 22. So back end wide receiver 2 at this point. But I definitely think he has an upside to finish as a wide receiver 1. And I really do attribute just terrible offensive schemes and terrible quarterback play for Allen Robinson's kind of terrible 2021. Because it's like, how do you go from 102 catches, 1,250 yards, 6 touchdowns in 2020 when, you're 26 years old, and then go to 38 catches, 410 yards, and 1 touchdown at 27 years old? Like, he's still in his prime at that age, right? There's no age cliff with Allen Robinson. So I'm really just attributing it to, I think he was just mentally checked out, to be honest. We talk about fantasy and players and whatnot, but they're still human, right? And they still go through things and shit. And honestly, I think he was just sick of being in Chicago and sick of playing for Matt Nagy. And he's just like, fuck it. I'm mailing it in. I'm still getting paid. I don't give a fuck. And, maybe that's just not talked about enough. Maybe we just don't want to think like a professional player, like he shouldn't do that, right? He's still making millions of dollars. But these dudes are still human too, and if you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, you're not gonna try, right? You're not gonna try to make things better, because your mind is just so focused on getting out of the situation that you're in. So I think it was just more mental with Allen Robinson than physical, because I still think the physical talent is there, and now obviously he's in his best situation of his career. So I'm kind of willing to throw away last year for A-Rob and just focus on projecting for the future. He's the wide receiver 2 on one of the best teams in the NFL with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and there's a lot of opportunity. They let Woods go, which is huge, I think. Van Jefferson, obviously, kind of an average wide receiver in the NFL. Odell isn't there anymore, so it's really just Kupp, A-Rob, and then a bunch of role players in terms of pass catchers. And shit, even today, there was an article put out by Cameron DeSilva of Rams Wire. And Cooper Kupp said, straight out the horse's mouth, Cooper Kupp said, he's special, he's really special, and he's going to have a great year this year. So how much do you factor that in? He said, I think a lot of that stuff fits right with who Allen Robinson is. I'm excited for him to be able to step into this place and be a part of this offense. I think it's going to be a great year for him. That was the quote.
I don't hate it, and I mean, I guess that he's going
Came out
in
today.
a fair spot of the draft. You know, he's going right around some of the other, you know, higher end wide receiver twos, guys like Judy and Gabe Davis and Chris Godwin. So like, it totally makes sense to me where he's going in drafts. But if he continues to climb, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on a guy that hasn't been that successful in quite some time. But I guess we got to remove those biases and just, you know, look at the difference between.
Hey, it was only 1 year. Only 1 year. He had a very good 2020.
He did, but I mean, he's had inconsistent seasons throughout his career. You know, like he had one good season in Jacksonville and 3 bad seasons. He had 2 good seasons in Chicago and 2 bad seasons. So, I don't know. We'll see with Allen Robinson. I think we agree the talent is there and the opportunity should be there.